Hi everybody, thank you for joining me for Reverent Readings. It is so good to have you all here. Tonight is the last episode of this Reverent Reading night. I am very sorry, but be sure and come back on Wednesday night at 9:30 to join me for Reverent Readings then as well. So just to get started, I want to invite you guys to check out the description box below and check out my Facebook page and give that a like and stay up to date with me on there, and also check out my blog and check out the link to get a free 30-day trial of Amazon Prime. So I think that's about it, guys. We're going to go ahead and get started with the reading tonight. Oh, one more thing before we get started is that I invite you all to please chat with me during the devotional. I would love to hear from you guys and hear any thoughts that you have, anything you'd like to share, anything you'd like to talk about, or just kind of discuss tonight's reading. I encourage you to do so by using the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. I would love to hear from you guys, and if you are not watching live, then please use the comment section down below. So, tonight's devotional is called Donkey Honk, and the Bible verse says, "After the interview with King Herod, the wise men went their way, and the star they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where the child was." Matthew 2:9. Mel recited the bloodlines of his prized mares that were with foal. As I listened, I leaned back in the dining room chair and stirred cream into my coffee. I'd driven to Mel's ranch in North breeding operation. He owned a simple old white farmhouse with a few outbuildings in the middle of a prairie. Mel pulled registration papers out of a manila envelope. As he spread them out on the table, he rubbed his leathery face with his calloused hand. He pointed at a paper. "Wait till you see this one's colt. It's a dandy. He was just born yesterday, and I watched the whole thing." Astonished, I leaned forward. "You were there? You actually saw him born?" "Of course. I watch all my mares give birth." I sipped my steaming coffee. How can that be? The breeders I knew wolves be born, but somehow being under their watchful eyes. "So, Cup," I asked, "so how do you set your alarm every hour when the mares are due, and then get up in their stalls? Mel grinned and said, "No, a lick of sleep." I sat back in arms. Mel's green eyes. "I've got a secret." "Nice, I just might." Carhartt jacket as I trudged through behind Mel to the makeshift corrals that separated the mares with foals from the rest of the herd. One corral held a lone horse standing close to the fence. Legs lazily lifted from the great white socks. "This is the gentlest giant, and he's the daddy to all these." Mel waved his arm toward a half-dozen good-looking foals. I glanced at their necks and curiously watched our every move. "Born?" A grin slithered across his face. "Having trouble tonight. Give me just a second. I'll see if I can fix it." I don't know why. Well, I shall continue and see if that helped any. Okay, let's go back. I glanced at the gangly foals that stood by their mothers' sides. They stretched their necks and curiously watched our every move. "Were you able to watch any of these being born?" A grin slithered across Mel's face. "Every single one," he replied. I scratched the back of my neck. I'd never heard of a breeder being able to watch every colt being born. Is Mel pulling my leg? The rancher chuckled. "Come on and meet my secret." He turned and walked toward a small shed. I shrugged and followed. As soon as we rounded the corner, a donkey scuttled over to the fence and brayed. It brayed and brayed, on and on, as if saying, "Gosh, I thought you'd never come over here to visit me." Snowflakes clung to the long eyelashes of the short, shaggy critter as he belted out another song. A newborn colt and its mother stood under the lean-to shed in the same paddock as the donkey. I looked at them with alarm. Tidbits I'd been taught about donkeys and mules swirled through my mind. Donkeys and mules generally hate small animals and purposely kill them, or so I'd heard. I'd seen mules with the look of blood in their eye as they took out after unfamiliar dogs. I'd been warned to never let them near colts because they do the same thing to them. Mel slipped the chain off the gate and motioned for me to squeeze through. He closed the gate behind us. The donkey walked over to the mule and nuzzled it. The donkey walked over to the colt and nuzzled it. Then that cute beast looked at us as if to ask, "Isn't he fine?" Confused, I glanced at the mare that was casually munching hay. How strange. Usually a mare has a fit if anything or anyone gets close to her colt. But she didn't seem to care in the least. She almost looked relieved. Mel ruffled the long tan coat of the donkey. "Here's my secret. This donkey is worth its weight in gold." Mel scratched the side of her neck. The donkey leaned into his fingers and as Mel told me the story. 2 years ago he went to a BLM auction for wild horses and donkeys. As the auctioneer's voice rang out, there was one shaggy little old donkey nobody bid on. He reasoned to raise his hand, but his heart went out to that critter as it stood in the ring shivering with fear. Up went Mel's number. After loading that poor little donkey into his horse trailer, he wondered what he'd just done. Aggressive behavior toward small animals. He knew he had to keep the donkey separate from the newborn colts. As the seasons changed and the colts grew, he finally turned the donkey loose with the mares and colts. He kept a close eye on the donkey, noticing that she spent all her time with the colts. She'd groom them and babysit while the mothers enjoyed afternoon naps in the sun. When the next spring rolled around, he had several mares due to foal. He wasn't looking forward to setting his alarm every hour all night long, so he could check on them in case they had problems with the birds. One night he was pretty sure a mare was going to foal. When he crawled into bed, he set his alarm to go off in an hour. Each hour he woke up, grabbed his flashlight, and walked down to the paddock to check on her. In the wee hours of the morning, he crawled back into bed and drifted off to sleep. He awoke with a start. That little donkey was bellowing and braying. Disgustedly, he rolled over, wishing the donkey would be quiet. But it went on, louder and longer. Finally, thinking something was wrong with the beast, Mel pulled on his boots, shrugged on into his jacket, grabbed a flashlight, and trudged through the pasture. The donkey was still braying and braying. Mel shone the beam of his flashlight toward the little animal. Its head was shoved way over the rail of the mare's paddock. Mel directed the beam into the mare's paddock. In the lean-to shed, the mare was lying down and straining. Her water had broken, and she was in full labor. A little hoof poked out. Mel watched in awe as he witnessed his first birth. Mel smiled at me as he brushed the snowflakes off the donkey. I would have missed that birth if it hadn't been for this little gal. That mare had waited for me to go back into the house before she lay down to have the colt. Mel chuckled and scratched the donkey. My secret weapon announces every baby's birth. I quit setting an alarm a long time ago. Instead, I've trained my ear to listen for her braying. Funny thing is, the neighbors don't hear her. It doesn't take much time for me to slip on my boots these days when I hear her. I looked at the snow gently falling on the donkey's tan coat and into the makeshift stable. I was reminded of something I'd read about, a scene some 2,000 years ago, when in a manger in Bethlehem a child was born. People who saw the star and read the prophecies, and the ones who heard the chorus of angels signaling the Messiah's birth, went to see the newborn. But others who saw and heard the same signs missed the greatest event in history because they hadn't developed a relationship with God. I scratched the donkey's neck as I thought, Jesus is coming back soon, and I don't want to miss the next greatest event in history. Lord, I'm hungry for a deeper relationship with you. Help me recognize the signs of your return. Amen. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's devotional, and I'm very sorry if you were having trouble, but I think things smooth out. So if you have any thoughts that you'd like to share, anything you'd like to add to tonight's devotional, please do so in the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. And if you're not watching live, I encourage you to leave anything you'd like to say in the comment section down below. Just one more time, guys. This is the last episode of this week, but be sure to come back on Wednesday when the next episode will be, Wednesday at 9:30. And join me back here and check out my Facebook page. There's a link in the description, and also my blog. There's a link in the description for that. And also please check out the link for Amazon Prime. Get a free 30-day trial when you sign up through that link. I hope you all have a great weekend and half a week until Wednesday. I know I will be very busy, but I know we are going to have a lot of fun where we are going, which is the reason that I won't be doing the devotional on Monday and Tuesday. But for those, and I will see you back on Wednesday at 9. Great night, everybody. Good night.